never not, never under yard, never ever, I'm forever on. Check my repertoire, check my repertoire, don't check me now. Let's just check involved. I've been feeling like I'm next to God, next to God, next to God.
We obsess over this. This is literally all we do, by the way. We were saying, weren't we? How do we start this video any different? Because
I'm sat in the exact same position.
yeah, it's this is what we do every day. So I think what we'll try and do is kind of like switch the topics up of the videos rather than do anything different, because we don't do anything different at all. This is it. We're literally the last time Carl filmed there, we've done the exact same thing all day. But we are training legs today, which is a different session, which should be pretty good. Mine and Hannah's sessions today are they're relatively similar in terms of the movements that we've got, a little bit of a different order, and then there's a couple of changes, but our bigger movements kind of overlap, don't they? So we get to like put each other through the sets there, which is good. And we are going to go through today kind of how to optimize your leg training. So that's going to be the topic of the video, just because I feel like legs is by far the most neglected muscle group and like body part and session that everyone does. I genuinely think everyone neglects that one the most out of all of them. And then two, it's the one that you see people training wrong the most as well. Especially from a coach's point of view, it's the one which we both have to put right most often. So we're having to like make changes to most often from like a client's point of view. And then it's probably the one that we've both learned the most that we were doing wrong, like before we started looking into how to optimize and manage your training a little bit more. It was definitely the session which we were both doing more things wrong, and we've had to change things on. So we're going to go over a couple of tips and things that we would recommend for optimizing your leg training. Obviously we'll be able to again then break it down into males and females if there is anything that go directly with that. But yeah, like I said to begin with, we're going to sit and do a bit of work, eat a pre-workout meal, and then it's Starbucks for a coffee again. It literally is. As an online coach, it's quite the same every day. Every training day looks pretty similar. Every rest day looks pretty similar. But we enjoy it, so.
Yeah.
So especially when I've got legs, I always make sure that I'm like really well hydrated on the day, just because, especially as I'm pushing body weight up, I'm finding that like my lower back, especially my lower back pumps have been horrific. Like I think I was hoovering around the flat the other day and I had to stop because my lower back was that pumped. So that definitely shouldn't be happening, and it's going to be hydration, that kind of thing that's going to, obviously mobility, that kind of stuff as well, but mainly for me I feel like it's hydration. And I think that's why I always like to get, like I've already done one of these this morning, so that's going to be what, 3 litres. Pre-workout will be like another half a litre, so 3.5, 4 litres before I've even trained. A serving of Hydromax in the morning, and I'm actually going to do it intra-workout today as well, because I don't normally I do it pre-workout, but shout out Liam Robinson, he said that he finds it well more beneficial to have it intra-workout, and then when he didn't have it intra-workout, he said he noticed the difference. So I'm not sure if I've noticed the difference, like a benefit of having it pre-workout, so I'm going to put it intra today, and hopefully on the leg movements where I'd normally feel it. Like I even feel it on like a lying hamstring curl, pendulum squat. So those today, hopefully we'll get no lower back pain. But yeah, I'll do another one of these before we train. So that'll be like I say, 3 to 4 litres before I even get in the gym. X. So I'm just checking if Hannah's got a logbook, because this was the dilemma we had last time. So logbook. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got my logbook.
Yeah, right, ready to go. Good. We went on the sunbeds once, mate. We both got sunburnt. All we wanted was a tan. Just wanted to be caramel brown, mate, and now I'm red. Bit of a nightmare, really, but.
Ice and not
Oh, extra ice, yeah. Yeah.
My eyelash just fell out, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's there.
No, not that eye.
Oh, there is one there.
Don't pick it off my eye.
No, it's on your skin. Oh, yeah, it's there, yeah.
Oh my god, that's like 3 lashes.
That's like 3 maybe just lost 3 eyelashes.
I'm gonna have to go and see this in the toilet.
Oh my god. doing this segment on my own now. Yeah, so this is nothing new at all. We literally every day we train anyway. We come to Starbucks for literally just 15-20 minutes, have a coffee, and chill out for a bit. Just kind of like I was saying, we kind of switch off from work, that kind of thing, when we get here. We get to get in the right mindset for training, and just once we've had these coffees, we'll go straight to the gym, get pre-workout in, and get to training. All right?
Yep.
Eyelashes all good?
Eyelashes all good.
All good.
You sure?
Good. Well, yeah, we don't really do much other than our normal routine, do we?
No, it's the same like every day.
Yeah, it's the same thing every day. So with these videos, there's not going to be like loads of, unless we're doing something specific. You know, kind of not, like I said, we keep it real. We're kind of not going to go out of our way to do all this stuff because we're so busy doing what we are doing. But like I said earlier in today's video, we're going to go through we've got a leg session today, and we're kind of going to go through some tips to optimize your leg training and how to get a little bit more from your leg training. We'll probably think of a nice catching caption for the video though, like how to get massive legs in one session or something. How to get calm loss media legs in one session.
Can't get bigger than mine,
Can't get bigger than calm. No, but yeah, in all seriousness, we're going to talk you through how to kind of like do things with your exercises, with your, even just little things like down to the order of your exercises, stuff like that. We'll just let you know kind of a couple of things that we've picked up on in terms of leg training and how we've developed our leg training probably over the past, 10 to 12 weeks.
Yeah.
We've seen the most progression.
Especially with form and tempo.
Yeah.
I've realised how important that is.
Yeah, 100%.
During the session.
Yeah, I think we look back at a couple of training videos of ours from a while ago, and wow.
I was doing that yesterday and I was just swinging the weight, wasn't I?
Yeah, it's not pretty anyway. Don't scroll further back than about 10 weeks on our Instagrams because you won't learn anything. But you know, tempo, that's a big thing. Another thing is just like moving the weight versus contracting the muscle. Like
anyone can move a weight.
Anyone can move a weight, and you could do it. You could do it with good form. You could do it with bad form. But if you're only moving the weight and you're not contracting the muscle the way your body wants it to, it's still going to be useless. So I don't want to go into it too much now because we'll go into it in a video. But that's the kind of shit that we'll touch on. But for now, we're going to enjoy our black coffees. We actually went for a large today, mate. We normally go for a medium. But,
I need to wake up.
Yeah, Hannah needs to wake
Food's
up.
been increased and I'm just sleepy now.
Yeah. I think that is one thing with the off season and food going up is naps, or feeling like you need to nap is a lot more frequent, but we try not to because then it takes away from your actual night's sleep. And because we're obsessed with these aura rings now and the scores that we get, we don't want anything to ruin that. Well, my sleep's already ruined, but I don't
sleep really well.
You sleep really well.
Apart from the odd time he wakes me up.
Yeah, I'm not a good sleeper. I'm not good. I'm an early riser as it is, and I can't stop that. I just don't sleep very well at night, do I?
No.
Possible sleep apnea is what we've got, but it is what it is. I'm still nice and vibrant on the day, aren't I, Carl?
Oh, aye.
Oh, aye.
Oh, aye.
But yeah, we'll just chill now, and we'll catch up with you in the gym.
Never not, never under yard, never ever, I'm forever on. Check my repertoire, check my repertoire, don't check me not. Unless it's checks involved, I've been feeling like I'm next to God. Next to God, next to God.
So we normally spend like 5 minutes now at the start just writing our logbooks up, sipping pre-workout, then we'll go and do our walk and get into the leg session. One thing I always do in my logbook is obviously write it up with your exercises, your rep ranges, that kind of thing, but I always write down how many meals I've had before the session, who I'm training with. So like if it's a solo session today with Hannah, if it was with Huber and AJ, like I'll just write down who I'm training with, and then I'll write down out of 10 how good I feel like I'm feeling. That's going to be like a bit of a guess, but you know, if I have a bad session, or if I'm looking back in my logbook and I've got bad numbers, and then I was feeling like a 4 out of 10, I'll know that was an off session. Whereas like today I put 9 out of 10 because I'm feeling pretty good. So I know that, you know, my numbers should be pretty good today. And when I look back to this session in the future, I know I was feeling good, which means that on 2 meals I'm feeling good. So it's just about giving yourself a little bit more data than just the numbers from the session. I like to write a little bit down at the start, and on prep especially, I'll kind of write down like my body weight and stuff as well. But in the off season, I don't really do that as much. But yeah, it's just a little bit of a tip with your logbook.
Never ever, I'm forever on. Check my repertoire, check my repertoire, don't check me now. Less is checks involved. I've been feeling like I'm next to God. Next to God, next to God. Never fold, never ever fold, never ever stone a rolling stone till I'm in Rolling Stone. Bet I'm close to goal, need a place, need a safer bank. I've been saving change, I need some space, chatting in my face.
Tip number one when it comes to optimising your leg training is DeFo. Don't forget about the small stuff, the small exercises. We're talking like adductors here now. We're going to move on to some lying hamstring curls, some quad extensions, all before we do any big pressing, any big loading. A lot of people will like structure their sessions based on, right, I've got to progress my leg press, I've got to progress my squat, and then these exercises, they're just whatever, and I'll just go through the motions with them. This shit is so isolating on the muscles in your legs that if you get stupidly strong at this kind of stuff, isolating those muscles, they're going to grow. They're going to have a hell of a lot of stimulus straight through them, and they're going to grow. Like, this is by far the strongest we've ever been at adductor, quad extensions, stuff that we would normally half-arse because we've done the big stuff, we've done the hard stuff. Whereas now,
this is going to benefit our big movements. Get strong at this sort of stuff.
Yeah, and we treat this like the big hard stuff. So the intensity here is no different to the intensity in a leg press, to the intensity in a pendulum squat. It's, like Hannah said, it's going to benefit those movements. We're going to come out of these, everything's going to be firing. They're going to be progressed from a numerical point of view. Everything's going to be firing in our legs. We're going to be nice and warm. The stuff down there is going to be so much less of an injury risk, and at the same time, still going to make the most out of that as well. So just the session is a whole session, you know, the calf raises at the end, the hamstring curls, the quad extension, it all matters. And if you take it all seriously with a level of intensity that's going to do something, something will happen. Oh yeah, that's it. The intensity is not going to slip on one set, no matter what the exercise is. Big breaths. In hand. There you go. So the top set song of choice in a minute. COVID's coming up.
Big one.
Red Card it's called. By Skepta and JME, mate. That's what's getting me going at the minute, mate. One rep and an assisted rep up. Again, like I said, I treated that exactly like I treat a fucking hack squat or a leg press. That intensity on those isolated movements. I'm gonna grow. Mate, it takes about 5 minutes to get my breath back after everything.
Genuinely does.
More than 10 reps, isn't it, mate?
What?
You do more than 10 reps?
Do more, yeah.
Fucking that's it then, isn't it?
Did 12.5 reps there.
No wonder you're out of breath, pal.
No wonder. Oh. Mate, 18 reps that. It's like 3 days worth of cardio.
And you're an endurance athlete.
I'm an endurance athlete, mate. I'm hybrid. Yes, come on. Right. Come on now. There you go. Come on. Good. Breathe.
With single leg press movements or any single leg movement, you should treat it like a separate set. So spend enough time to recover, ready for your other leg. One thing I'm guilty of doing is going straight into my next leg and not getting enough recovery time. Just making big sets. So yeah.
So, tip number 2 is going to be tempo and how you move during your sets. You know, during the form that you're doing. A lot of people will just move so fast, like you're moving at a speed where your muscles barely having to do much work, and because you're moving so quickly through the eccentric and the concentric movements, you're basically like springing out of the bottom, aren't you? And if you think about slowing that eccentric movement down, like you see Hannah on this, moving so slow through that eccentric portion, the muscles having to do so much work to control that weight, and we're still applying progressive overload, we're just keeping that form the same and getting better at it. And that added work that the muscles having to do through the eccentric portion, controlling the tempo, that's going to make so much difference when it comes to actual stimulation in the muscle, therefore damage you do to the muscle, therefore the work that the muscle does and the progress that you're going to make from a building muscle point of view. You've got to remember the muscle has to be broken down to grow, and how are you going to do that when you're moving? You're literally bouncing your way through leg presses, you're bouncing your way through squats, bouncing your way through like quad extensions. Everything has to be done in a controlled manner and under a relatively good tempo.
It makes it a lot harder, so when you do start slowing your movements down, you will have to lower the weight a little bit. It hits your ego a little bit, doesn't it? When we first started doing that, I was like putting 5 on the side on a barbell squat. That was heavy for me at the time, so you slowly start progressing it up when you get that form right. Add the weight once you've got it right.
The logbook, if you're already logbooking your weights and you're not controlling the weight like this, you have to accept that you're going to have to reset numbers. If you have to drop 2 plates aside off a leg press, you have to drop 2 plates aside. This is where the logbook can kind of get carried. You can get carried away with it a little bit, and you can let deteriorating form carry you through weight progression. But that's why you reset it and then keep form the same. We're now as strong as, if not stronger than we were with bad form, with the perfect form, really good control of that weight, and that's led to so much more growth. Like my legs are twice as big now at this strength as they were when I was this strong before, just because of the way I now move the weight. So it's just something to think about. Best thing to do is film your sets.
Yeah.
We never used to film our sets properly and like actually analyse them, and now that we do, we can see how bad they were, but now we're looking at them and they're a lot better. And that's why we send our sets to Cuba. He has a look at them, he tells us what we're doing right or wrong. Because we train in Ultraflex Rotherham now as well, he basically critiques every set we do. And that's something that if you're not already doing, either critiquing your own movements or doing it, like videoing them and sending them to your coach, think about doing that as well. But get an honest eye to look at them. Don't get someone to just, oh yeah, that's sound, mate, that's not going to help. Yeah, you need someone honest to look at them. Think about tempo. Just don't be a dick. You know, don't let your ego lead you to lifting stupid weight with terrible form. It's in the machine. See, I've seen someone iron the machine up.
Is this the equivalent of putting your towel on a sun lounger on holiday?
Yeah. I'm that fella that comes down at 6 o'clock and throws my towel on like 4 sun loungers. Come on, 4. Another thing that you can DeFo do to improve your training as a whole, not just your leg training. Get a training partner who's fucking honest with you. Like 2 reps into that, Hannah said to me, slow down, like you're moving too fast. And if she'd have let me just carry on with that set, I'd have been in this fucking situation now, blowing out my arse, and not have got the full benefit from it. So, make sure you train with someone who knows, 1, how you move, and 2, it's just gonna put you through it properly, because a lot of times your training partner's taking people's reps away, and like, if you train with someone, learn to be fucking harsh, because that being harsh is gonna make them better, and in turn they'll do it to you, and they'll make you better. That goes for any training session, not just legs. Hard. Get out. There you go. Breathe. Better. Yes. Now. There you go. Breathe. What are you doing now? Come on. What are you doing now? You, not touched it. Time. This is the fucking 5 1. Come on. Come on. Go! Yeah, you. Touch. One with me.
Two more.
You, no touch. Fucking there now. This is yours now. Don't let me get involved. Go! You! Fucking do it. Nice set. And that set then, I so easily could have took that last rep. And
I so easily could have stopped.
And yeah, she so easily could have stopped and said, you know, take that rep off me. But there was absolutely no chance I was taking that rep off her until it was on the way back down. And I think that is something that, I mean, as a spotter, it takes confidence that you've got to be like very sure of what you're doing to almost let someone fail and have that shit fall back down on them. But I know hands training that well, she knows mine that well, to the point where we can go like 99.9% of the way to it's fucking gonna hurt this, and then we would get involved, and that's a pivotal point of being a training partner, a spotter. And that's something that it's communication. It takes time. You're not going to just start training with someone and suddenly like know everything about them. So that's just something that takes time. But if you do training partners and things, it's a common thing at the minute. It's definitely something to think about. On this, because we're so close to kind of getting all the weight on it, it's about making the movement harder. So I tell Hannah to make me make it hard, so forcing me to slow reps down, forcing me to go continuous with reps as opposed to taking too much time. It makes the set so much harder, but we'll standardise that, progress it, and we'll still be making progress. is when you're training your legs, actually use your legs. And what I mean by that is, when you're doing movements, you have to be feeling it in the right muscles. If you're doing a quad extension and you can't feel anything in your quads, you're just feeling pressure through your hips and your knees, you're doing something wrong. If you're doing a leg press and all you're feeling is your lower back's blown out, your ankles are sore because your mobility's bad and your feet are in the wrong place, you know, you're doing something wrong if you can't feel it in the right muscles. So this is where you have to really, again, critique your form, understand how your body moves. If there is not a one-size-fits-all form for every exercise. There's going to be ways which you need to do things for you. For example, that leg press. I don't know if you could hear Hannah, but she was saying, don't go too low. And she was stopping me at a certain point. That's because when I go too low, everything switches off. I've had a little bit of a tear in my adductor, so that would just put massive stress on my adductor and it could go again, and that's the last thing that I need right now. So we're working that movement around my body, keeping all of the tension exactly where it needs to be. That's what you have to make sure you're doing. It's almost like I can't give an answer to the tip in terms of what you can do, because I don't know you who's watching this, that there's not a right answer for everyone. You just have to make sure you're feeling it, and if you're not, then there's something that you need to do differently. You may be flinging a weight rather than dragging the weight. So I always find that if I think about dragging the weight and using the muscle, like for example in a quad extension, shortening your quad, dragging the weight upwards, that is going to make you feel a hell of a lot more, or you're going to feel that hell of a lot more in your quad. And it's just that similar feeling and the similar concept to all movements. But like I say, tip number 3 is make sure you're actually using the muscle that should be being used. And if you don't know what should be being used, find out. You know, ask someone who will know. Research it yourself. YouTube's there for a reason, the internet's there for a reason. But yeah, again, this is about being disciplined and understanding that there will be a way to move a weight that is much more beneficial for you. This is the beauty of training in the same gym as your coach. You've noticed it's like a little thing that's off about Hannah's training here now, just the position that she's in, and we're putting it right. And that's going to, again, optimise Hannah's training tenfold, because it's going to be so much better, because she's going to feel it better and everything. So, like I was saying about sending videos to your coach of your training, or just if you can get to them in person, let them look over it. Perfect. Come on! Again.
one more. Hip down. Hip down. Come up, 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 up. There, hold, 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 hold. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Perfect. I think that set that Hannah's just done there, the rest pause, is a fitting set to move on to tip 4 being just fucking work hard. Like, if you're not putting 100% into every set, if you're not putting 100% into every session, you know, taking it all the way there, taking sets to failure, you're not going to get the most out of the session. So you can do all the other things that we've mentioned today as much as you want, but if you don't put 100% effort in, you ain't going to get 100% out of it either.
And you know you're not, if you leave a session feeling, I could have done more, then you know you're not working hard enough. Like, I've been guilty of leaving the session and thinking, do you know what, I didn't work as hard as I could have done. So there's nothing worse than leaving the gym without feeling, so definitely work as hard as you possibly can.
Yeah, and I think sometimes you've got to be honest with yourself. Some people can leave the gym with that feeling and they either make excuses or they don't even know they're feeling like that. You've got to be honest with yourself. Like, Hannah just said to me then, I could have been sick doing that set, I literally could have cried. And if like that, you should feel like that after most sets. You really should, with that level of intensity. And if you're not, you need to fucking check yourself big time, because you're missing out on a lot of progress.